So let's try to create a virtual machine. You will find a lot of documentation in the Confluence area under QIB Cloud documentation. This includes how to create an SSH key for Windows that I will not cover at the moment. So let's go and open the cloud.quadram.ac.uk website. We can log in with our QIB login. Let's click on Launch a QIB server. So we will find a nickname. Let's go to put our name to identify the owner. The instance type. So there are different flavors. For example, we can select 8 CPUs and 16 gigs of RAM or 32. And as operating system, I suggest Ubuntu to start. In the SSH key, if you already have your key in the menu, you can select it from there. Otherwise, create make new. So you need to make a name for your key and then paste the key here. If you use macOS or Linux, you can generate a key, if you don't have already one, with SSH keygen. By default, the key file will be created in your home directory under a hidden folder called .sh, and its name will be IDRSA. Unless you have multiple keys, it's handy to give the default name so that it will be automatically chosen when you will enter your virtual machine. You can select a key phrase or leave it empty. And now, two files have been created. Your key, that must stay private in your computer and it's as secret as a password and should not be shared, and your public key. This is sort of a key lock. It's a way to identify that the key is correct. And this is how it looks like. SSH RSA, a long string, and usually your username and the local machine. And this is a handy thing to remember where it came from. Now I can launch the server. It will take some minutes, but when you see this green banner, everything went okay. Now it's just a matter of waiting some time. As you remember, to log in your machine, you need 3 information. Your username in the remote server, and if you choose Ubuntu, it will be Ubuntu. Your IP address, and here you can get it from the interface of the QIB Cloud, and a key file that we generated and added to the remote server. So let's try if everything is okay. The command from Mac or Linux will be SSH username at IP address. We don't need to specify the key file because if it's in the default location, it will be automatically selected. Since it's the first time we log into this server, we have this prompt and we need to type yes to continue. It will be only as the first time. And we are in. Now, as you can see, my username changed from my name to Ubuntu, and I'm the remote machine. There are some things already installed. For example, conda is available and you can install programs with conda. Singularity is available, so you can run Singularity containers. And you can mount the HPC locations, and you can also create virtual volumes if needed. So let's see how to mount the HPC location. For this, let's go to how to use the QIB Cloud. So in Ubuntu, we might need to install some extra software. You can try to check if this is the case. So first we refresh the package list, and then we install CIF's utils. Okay, and now we're ready to go. When you mount, it means that you are saying where the files that are in an external source should be made available. So the usual command is mount. Source, in this case, is a network location, and then the destination, that must be a directory that you have in your file system where you have write access and that it's empty. Finally, we need to add some options. Specifically, we need to let the HPC know who you are, because in the VM we are all Ubuntu, and that's not very informative. So here we will put our NBI login. First, we can create a directory. I want to mount both my home and the staging areas that will be in HPC, home, and transfer respectively. Then let's mount the staging area. So mount remote location current local machine directory. So tilde is my home transfer, and then I put some extra settings including my username, and I need to also remember to copy the other part. I will be asked my NBI password, and I can do the same for my home. Now, if I do an ls inside transfer, I will see that there are the incoming and outgoing locations, and so I can access HPC files from my VM. Finally, a note on conda. The usual command to install a package is conda install the channels where they needed to install the package. Usually in our case is bioconda, and sometimes also conda forge, and then the package name. For example, some tools. There is a faster way to install packages, and so for a lot of people, conda is just the command we use the first time to install another package called Mamba. So let's try to install Mamba first. Conda install -c conda forge Mamba. Mamba is a program that's called a drop-in replacement. The syntax is the same. We will just write Mamba install and then the very same parameters that we would supply for conda. So let's try to install some tools, but with Mamba. And now we have some tools installed. For more advanced topics, check the documentation or feel free to ask us.